Welcome to the WanderLearn podcast. I'm your host, Francis Tapon. In this episode, I'll be interviewing the head of the global partner program of Vacasa. Now, Vacasa is probably a company you haven't heard about. That's why you want to listen to this podcast to learn all about it. I have to apologize up front that the audio quality is a bit weak, especially on Thaddeus's voice. And there's something like he's either playing with something like the microphone or something like that where you can hear a little kind of occasional scratch. Apologize. It's a little bit irritating here and there, but overall you can understand what he's saying. So apologize for that. We'll try to correct that in future episodes. But basically, if you have a vacation property, you'll love to hear this episode. You'll want to hear it. If you like to rent vacation homes, this is also an episode you want to listen to because Vacasa is right up that alley. So enjoy this half-hour episode with Thaddeus and learn more about Vacasa. There's more to life than just Airbnb, folks. Welcome to the WanderLearn podcast. This is Francis Tapon. I'm here with Thaddeus Hanscom of Vacasa. Welcome.
Thank you, Francis. Great to be here.
So, Thaddeus, tell us a little bit about Vacasa. Well, first of all, let's get a quick little background on you. You went to UW for your MBA. You also went to Stanford GSB, and then you've consulted for Amazon, and now all of a sudden you're in Vacasa. So, tell us a little bit about Vacasa. What brought you there? What makes you interested in place? Because most people haven't even heard of it.
Sure. So before Amazon, I spent 7 years at Expedia and got to spend some time as an executive there and loved the world of travel. So really fell in love with travel and got to travel all over. Lived in London for 3 years, but travel around Asia, work out of Australia. Got the travel bug and moved my family down to Portland for a while, exploring other opportunities after Expedia. And then when I was trying to find, a couple of years ago, I was looking around for the next opportunity, right? Where did I want to work? And I wanted to get back into travel and met the founders of Vacasa and recognized that they were operating really in a wonderful space that was really fragmented, and they're driving tremendous value, both for guests and for homeowners in the world of Airbnb, the sharing economy, renting out your home while you traveled the world, and wanted to be part of that journey as they were just starting. They were a startup, getting ready for IPO, and had just gotten preliminary funding.
Have they gone public already?
Nope, not yet.
Okay.
Nope.
So everything we say here could be used against you in insider trading.
Yes, I didn't consult. I think the SEC notes very clearly. You cannot buy Vacasa. They're on the path toward an IPO.
Are they looking for it 2019 or so, or what?
I don't think there's not a date on the calendar. Okay. I think that is one of those things that if I knew, I couldn't tell you.
Got it. Okay, so what can you tell us about who your customer is? In other words, is your customer the homeowner or the customer the person who's renting the property? How does Vacasa work, really?
Right. So there's two primary. Vacasa wants to be the one-stop shop for everything vacation rentals or short-term rentals, income-generating vacation homes, and so one customer is the guest. So if you go to vacasa.com. We have over 10,000 properties in 23 different states and 16 different countries where you can find a wonderful vacation home for your family. And we have those curated homes, everything from a condo on the Oregon coast to a wonderful vacation home in Italy where you could plan a family vacation around.
And one quick question. Sorry to interject, but what percentage of your house, your properties are in the United States versus abroad?
Yeah, so it's about 80-85% domestic.
Okay.
And 15-20% international.
And international, I imagine you're focused mostly on Western Europe, or do you also have stuff in East Asia?
Most of it's so Western Europe and then South America, Mexico.
Okay, got it. Usted habla español porque tú viviste en Chile.
Sí, un año.
Okay. The translation.
¿Vamos a hacer este podcast en español o inglés?
So,
¿Cuál quieres?
for the sake of everybody, let's stick to English. But anyway, yes. Thaddeus worked for a year or studied a year in Chile.
I did.
Okay. So
So
go ahead. So what I want to know is the first thing people are going to hear about when they hear
mhm,
the elevator pitch is they're going to say, okay, how is this different than VRBO? How's
sure.
this different than Airbnb? What's your
Right.
way to set
So
yourself
you,
apart?
right. So you asked about who our customers are, who Vacasa's customers are, and I talked about how you can find our properties on Vacasa.com, and we market those properties for our homeowners on VRBO, on HomeAway, on Airbnb. And so one customer, we have very much top of mind are the guests that come and stay at the properties that we service for our homeowners. And the second key demographic we have, key customer group, are those homeowners. So we have about 10,000 homeowners that are working with Vacasa. They have a home either in the United States of America or abroad, and they've asked us. So we have they've asked us to look after that home, manage that home for them, help drive rents for the home. So the value promise that Vacasa has is we drive more revenue with less hassle for the homeowner. And so if you have a second home, it's permitted for short-term rent. We do everything for that homeowner. We market the property. We have cleaners to take care of the home. We drive guests. We take care of the guests when they're at the home. We clean up after when guests leave, help turn the home, and drive more revenue from the property for their asset with less hassle.
So this
And
is
we work with them.
turnkey property management, basically.
Yes.
Okay. Now there was a company, and I'm blanking out on the name right now. Maybe I should research it, but there's a company that basically wants to be a one-stop shop, and then you set up your profile, and then they manage your Airbnb, your Booking.com,
Mm-hmm.
your I guess I don't know what other ones, VRBO. I think they do it all, and I'm blanking out on their name. But is that kind of what you're doing?
And so we do everything for the homeowner, right? So
Okay.
it's not just marketing, right? So
Mm-hmm.
there are players there that do just market a property,
Mm-hmm.
but the value promise for Vacasa is that we're a one-stop shop for a homeowner.
Got it.
So we have local operations teams. We have thousands of employees around the world. Eyes on the home. We'll take care of that property, so the homeowner doesn't have to be proximate to the home, and you can rent out your home and not worry that what's going to happen to it while you're not taking care of it. So a lot of the homes that we manage have been in someone's family for years, right there, and they're in many cases it's their most valuable asset,
Right.
and so right they have concerns about giving that up, about renting it out, having strangers come in their home, right? And so they may be making a decision: do I participate in the sharing economy? I hear great things about it. I heard that in my market, whether it's a ski town or a beach town, if that home is in a vacation rental market, they hear good things from their neighbors about the possibilities of renting out their property for short-term rentals. But they're concerned about giving up control, and they want to find a partner they can trust. And so Vacasa's been doing this since 2009. We've pioneered a rate optimization for our owners in the short-term rental space. We have industry-leading algorithms to help price units. We think about pricing like airlines think about pricing for our homeowners, and again, driving more revenue with less hassle for the 10,000 homeowners that work with us.
Do you have a front end for, let's say, the traveler who just wants to rent a beach property in Florida? Or do
We have
they do it all through your partners like the Airbnbs out there?
Sure. So you can go to vacasa.com and check our properties that we have today for markets. So if you're looking
And I
for
can book.
Yes.
Okay, got it. So you do have a front end where I can put my credit card and reserve for 1 week, etc. I mean, I imagine all these things are primarily for longer stays, not for 1 night or 2 night deals, or you do everything.
No, we do everything.
Okay.
right?
Got it.
So yeah, if you're most of our bookings are for multiple nights, but you can book something for tonight.
Okay,
Uh,
so when somebody is listening to this and says, "Okay, I want to go on a 1 week vacation to the
yes,
Bahamas or to Austin, Texas,"
sure.
and they look at, Vacasa.com, this is their opportunity where they could book, and they should add that to the list of websites in addition to the Airbnbs and the
Right.
hotels.com or whatever else.
Right. So exactly. So Vacasa properties, again, we had the properties on Vacasa.com, and we actually must market those properties for our owners on Airbnb and VRBO and HomeAway on different channels to drive the most revenue for our homeowners. But what's different when you look on Vacasa.com and you look on our properties is all those properties are professionally managed. So it's not the case that so sometimes when you're traveling, you want an experience where you're cohabitating with a host, right? You like the idea of sharing a fridge. You like the experience of what's the discovery that it's going to be in the cupboards that are open. It's a couch surfing. It's a the dogs are running. It's a chance for you to immerse yourself in somebody else's space. That isn't Vacasa's value proposition to a guest. For guests that book on Vacasa.com and for guests who book our properties, it's a professionally managed home. And that means you have your own space, you have your own living space. We have professional cleaners cleaning the home. There's a standard of quality that we have, drive tremendous guest satisfaction from that professional cleaning and professional maintenance of a home.
Is it a daily clean or is it once a week?
Oh, so it's post stay. So in some markets that there are in stay cleans, but generally it's that model is like an Airbnb, which you would expect.
Okay.
The home is clean when you get there. So
Got
we have
it.
professionals do cleans before you get there,
Right.
and then when you leave, we take care of the cleaning as well.
Okay. And so would you say that the properties in general are a bit more high end compared to what you might find on Airbnb? Or, I mean, to me, it sounds like it's VRBO. Airbnb is more your closer market comparison rather than hotels.com. Because
Right.
you're really staying in a
Right.
real home, right? A real apartment or something.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And VRBO and HomeAway are booking channels, right? You can find the homes. And Vacasa is a booking channel. Hotels.com is a booking channel. You find homes. What Vacasa does is for the 10,000 homes in our portfolio, and we've struggled to keep up with homeowner demand in the market. So we're a company that's grown 60 to 80% year over year over year over year since we were founded. And there's demand from those two different audiences. One are guests, and guests wanting a home that's professionally managed, where there's no surprises in the refrigerator. There's no surprises in with the smell of the carpet. They've got, or if we have professionals that take care of them. We have a customer service group that operates around the clock to take care of our guests that are professionally run, as opposed to someone who's working part-time trying to take care of a home. And there's different experiences. There's sometimes where you want the serendipity and you want the risk of traveling someplace and you want the joy of discovery. And there's sometimes when you're traveling where you want consistency and you want a predictable experience and you want a level of cleanliness and because you have a lot riding on the trip. It's a family get together. You're bringing people together. It's an event you've all saved for and planned for a long time. And Vacasa has a standard of care for homes that is, we think, really top notch and has driven a tremendous amount of customer satisfaction and driven a lot of the growth for the company. And the other side is for homeowners, right? Homeowners come to us because we'll take care of everything for them.
Mm-hmm. So you have like a central calendar, I imagine, to manage all this stuff so that when somebody let's say, books it either directly
Yes.
through your website or books it on
Yes.
Airbnb, that you'll take the property off of booking.com or the other
That's
places
right.
that's listed. Okay, got it. So that's part of
That's
your,
right. We have.
that's part
Yes.
of your thing. So if VRBO doesn't list the same property and you get a double booking or triple booking.
That's right. So we have we've put we invest a lot of resources as a company on our data scientists and our analytics end to help with rate optimization and pricing, and we invest a lot of resources in our engineering team doing things like direct API integrations with those platforms.
Okay.
So when there's a booking on a third party booking channel on a HomeAway or an Airbnb, that that calendar block for that unit, it's no longer available. So you don't have to walk a guest, right? We talk about it internally about the guest experience, and in making sure we're doing nothing as a company to ruin someone's vacation. Again, we want to make vacations. People have dreamed about their holiday, and how can we help make the most for the vacation they have planned. And if you don't get that right, and they're companies, they're individuals, you get it wrong, right? When you have to follow up with someone and say, hey, I'm sorry, there's double booking.
Right. That's a
The
problem.
home's no longer available. Yeah, it's a problem. Right.
So one of the things that probably annoys you, because you have to be basically an evangelist, you're dealing with a lot of the partnerships, and when you're trying to find partners, you are probably annoyed by how many people always compare you to Airbnb, and you're like, but we're not like Airbnb, right? But I finally, it entered my brain, finally a company that I do think you guys are similar to, but I want you to have a chance to explain how you're different.
Okay.
It's now I just remembered it. It's called FutureStay.com. And I don't know if maybe you're looking at, you have an expression on your face. You're saying, well,
No,
have I heard of it?
I've not heard of FutureStay.com.
Okay, yeah, well, all right. Do your research there. This is, I don't remember even how. I think a friend of mine, somebody I met, that's right.
Okay.
I met somebody at a party like
Yeah.
7 years ago, and he gave me, or maybe it was 6 years, anyway, he gave me his business card. And believe it or not, when I came back from Africa, I went back and I was just like going through all my business cards, and I found this thing called Future Stay. And I was like, huh, interesting company. And from my understanding, again, I don't know them that well myself, but that they have like a one-stop shop kind of thing similar. Now, I think the difference is that you guys actually have the cleaners that go in, and you actually have a lot more property management than they do, as opposed to them, Future Stay. I think all they do is just make sure that all the that you're on. Well, actually, I don't think they even set you up. Do you guys set people up on on properties? Like, in other words, do you set up accounts on VRBO, or do you
We
expect
do.
the end user? Okay, you guys do that too. So I only have to set up one account with just Vacasa, and then you guys will go up and set up accounts with all the other players.
So we'll set up we work with the homeowner on getting the home ready for guest ready for the first day, and we have design services that they like to consult with to see how they could optimize guest demand for their property. But it's our photographers that come in, so we have professional photographers to take the photo.
Yeah.
We have our copywriters that work on writing the copy for the home.
Got it.
And so we'll help. We build with the homeowners as much consultation or input as the homeowners can give us. It's their property, but we're driving. We optimize their listing for Vacasa. We optimize their listing for HomeAway. We optimize it for Airbnb and across the channels.
Okay, so you're a lot more hands-on. So I imagine your fee has to be much higher than FutureStay, because you're doing a lot more service than FutureStay is. FutureStay is just basically, I think you have to set up your property on Airbnb. All you got to do is like link your calendars, all synchronize it with FutureStay. That's their value added. But you guys are going to a whole new level of sophistication and service than they do. So to me, FutureStay is not a turnkey solution. It's you guys are truly turnkey. You're soup to nuts, everything, the whole thing. So
that's right.
What's your pricing structure? How do you guys you take a commission, I imagine, or is there a setup fee? It's like somebody says, okay, I've got a vacation property sitting in Lake Tahoe, and I want to do it with Vacasa,
Right.
what's your fee structure?
So there's no setup fee, but there's no hidden fees with Vacasa for the homeowner. But we do take a percentage of the rents. So we get paid when the homeowner gets paid.
Okay.
And that percentage varies by market, and it varies on the income generating potential of the home. Broad range is 25 to 35%.
Got it. Okay. And that percentage does not change over time or over seasons or whether it's the
That's right.
holidays or whatever. So, and is it a 1 year commitment or is it a month-long commitment or is there any contract at all?
There's a contract,
Okay.
but there's and the commitment would be to guests that book on the property. So with the contract, if you have outstanding stays, like you commit to being with us while we take care of guests who booked the stay at your property.
Mm-hmm.
Again, that's the so it's not something you want to we don't have homeowners that turn us on for 3 months and then turn us off, right? We're not. We should be partnering.
Right.
If you're tired of the second job of managing a home, if you're just someone taking care of the home for you, we are a long-term partnership, and that's our focus, and that's where we're working with homeowners.
And I think that for some people, let's say listening to this and they have a vacation home and they're like, oh my God, I don't, that, 20, 30% or whatever is a high price to pay.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the value proposition for you is that you're saying, okay, well, we can actually get more money. In other words, your property that
That's
normally
right.
rents out for $100 a night, we can get it for $130 a night just because of our brand and because of our marketing efforts and because the
That's
way
right.
we soup it up and the way we do better photography, you can command a better price. So in fact, you're paying for yourself. So I'm
That's
paying for your service because
Yes.
you should be able to charge a premium because you've souped things up, you do more marketing, you put in more channels, and for a homeowner to do this for themselves, either A, they're not going to do it well, B, it's going to take a
That's
ton
right.
of their time, and time is money. So I can see that's the value proposition of somebody says, you know what, I've got a full-time job, I don't need two full-time jobs.
That's right. And Vacasa is not the cheapest option out there, right?
Right.
But we don't think you should go to the cheapest dentist. You probably don't want to go to the cheapest barber or find the cheapest heart surgeon.
I go to the
So,
cheapest barber. Oh.
but there may be times, right? I mean, like to what you said, the cost is not for everybody, right? I mean,
Yeah, sure.
It's not a. There are cheaper ways to do it.
What's your insurance policy on like if some guest comes there and thrashes the place?
Right. So we make sure that so we have a preferred provider on the insurance space. That's Assurant. Homeowners can take out their own guest insurance policy. So there's, but every home has to be insured that we work with. So so you need to have insurance for the property.
Okay, but you don't provide any insurance on top of that. In other words, they might have the regular homeowner's insurance, but
so we don't. So we work with the homeowner to make sure that they're educated for their options there, but they can't use regular homeowners insurance and list with Vacasa. So they have to have specific vacation rental homeowners insurance.
Okay, so the homeowner is on the hook to upgrade their homeowner's insurance policy. That's different than Airbnb. I think Airbnb, they provide like insurance, don't they? Or I don't know.
So I know that Airbnb has I think a safety net policy, but I'm not familiar with their exact insurance policy.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right.
But they do good marketing around that, right? They have a like, hey, well, it's $1 million if someone thrashes your home, we'll help. We'll take care of it. I think that was in reaction to some early incidents, and they've had some spectacular issues, and so they have a very public insurance policy.
Right. So, but Vacasa does not have that same equivalent policy.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. All right. So, because I know also when I used to use getaround.com, which is a car sharing service. So I rented out my car, and it was the
Hmm.
same thing. And there was another one called Turo, Turo,
Yes.
same
Yep.
idea. And they
Right.
also provide a supplemental insurance on top of my regular. So they obviously I have to have car insurance,
Hmm.
but they have a supplemental insurance too on top of that. I never had to use it, of course,
Right.
but that's something that is useful. Any tips that you would give people who are thinking about using Vacasa either as a homeowner or as a renter?
For the as a renter, the easy one is book early, right? So do your shopping, look early, read the reviews. That's the easy one. And as as a homeowner, I think it's do your research. So Vacasa has been around for 9 years. We have uh, really strong growth throughout those 9 years and a tremendous amount of homeowner demand. And so when you find a partner, someone who's going to take care of your home, look and see. There's lots of options out there, right? I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can you can take care of your vacation rental property. You can participate in the sharing economy, uh, and and we love what we we have tremendous demand for our services, but there's plenty of different ways you can do it. So find the right company for you.
Got it. And if people want to learn a little bit more about Vacasa, I imagine just go to vacasa.com, Vacasa.
That's right. So Vacasa.com has, at the top, you can find solutions for you, whether you're looking as a guest and finding a property to rent, a vacation home to stay, a homeowner. You can look in our property management services for your vacation home. Or if you're looking to buy. So if you are somebody who's thinking about buying a second home, you're wondering what the best markets are to buy a second home. Uh, we just launched our winter market report that looks at the top 10 winter markets where folks might buy if you're interested in a ski cabin. Uh, so that's in our winter cabin report. And we did a top 25 market report earlier this year, looked at the top 25 markets by cap rate. So if you're looking at markets where your home is going to punch above its weight, it's more likely to pay for itself. That's in our top 25 report. So there are resources for you, whether you're a guest, a homeowner, or a prospective home buyer, and you're interested in buying a vacation home.
Great. And so what's the direction of Vacasa for the future? Where do you see yourselves going?
So the company really wants to be that one-stop shop. I think there's looking at uh, vacation rentals and vacation rental properties, where to buy, who's going to take care of my home, where should I stay. There's still a lot of complexity in the space for you have a home, the permitting, managing STRs is. Am I gonna find the right home? Is the revenue going to be sustainable? Right? Are questions that people are asking, and we want to partner with homeowners to help them find the right home. Once they have a home, we want to bring simplicity and clarity, transparency to the process. And we have tremendous investments in our analytics, and our data scientists, and driving results, and we want increasingly provide that transparency to our process for the homeowner. And as we build our portfolio, we're excited to bring more great properties to guests. So we're now in 23 states. We're growing and expanding in more states to meet that consumer demand in 2019, and we're growing in more countries around the world. And where we are operating, we want to continue to grow and find amazing properties and amazing homes within those areas where we're already very strong. The markets in Florida, Tahoe, and the California coast, and Oregon, Washington.
Excellent. Well, it sounds exciting, and I'm glad that people will be considering Vacasa, I think, for their future long stay vacations or even shorter stays vacations. If you want to have something that is a bit on it sounds like, higher end properties. I mean, I imagine that you don't, it's not a place, if you want to find the bargain basement room in somebody's house, it's not where you want to go.
No, it's not couchsurfing.com.
Right.
No, it's
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Well, not even Airbnb in that sense. It's not even that. I mean, it's a step above Airbnb for the average Airbnb
Right.
property.
No, you have your own space. You'll
Right.
always have
Right.
your own bathroom.
Right.
You have your own kitchen,
Right.
or I think there's some units we have some smaller beach, like maybe a beach unit that's got a kitchenette,
Oh,
but
and
there's always
last question for those, Thaddeus.
yeah.
Last question I want to ask you is, if
Yes.
you're a property owner and you've got a property yourself, but what percentage of the time for the year do you need to have that property available for Vacasa to use? In other words, can
Mm-hmm.
you use it for just 1 week? Use you guys 1 week a year, or does it have to be available basically 11 months of the year for Vacasa to rent out?
So that's a great question. We don't have I don't know of a time, a time,
Minimum time.
a minimum time for our homes, but we're not a good fit for someone who's looking at a month, 2 months, 3 months out of the year.
Got it.
The exceptions may be if it's a very high income generating home and they're looking at in the high season, they want to rent it out because but it's a home that would generate $100,000 of rents, $150,000 in rents across 3-4 months. And they're looking at staying there in the low seasons and then renting out in the high seasons to pay for
Right.
the year. I know we've had opportunities like that, but our generally, the value proposition is that we take care of the home for the 9, 10, 11 months out of the year when you're not staying there, when your friends and family aren't staying
Right.
there, and homeowners can block out as much of the calendar as they want.
Even in the high season.
Even in the high season.
Right. Right.
And what we try to do is just educate them on the cost of that,
Right.
on the cost. Okay, right? So it's up to them.
It's
right?
an opportunity cost for them.
It's an opportunity cost for them. Exactly right.
Great. Thaddeus, it's been a pleasure. I wish you the best of luck in
Thanks, Francis.
everything with Vacasa, and take care.
Thank you. Great talking with you.
And that concludes this episode of the WanderLearn podcast, where we explore travel technology and transformation. If you'd like to see the show notes with links to what we talked about, or if you'd like to comment on the show, or if you'd like to ask me a question, then go to WanderLearn.com and click on the latest episode. If you'd like to connect with me, just remember Tapon. That's my first initial and my last name. Tapon is the username I use on all social media. You can also get to my website by going to ftapon.com. Here's one last reason to remember Tapon. If you like what I do and want to get rewarded for supporting my projects, then go to patreon.com/ yep, you guessed it, ftapon. That's where you can pick up some sweet rewards for as little as $1 a month. And remember, subscribing to the WanderLearn podcast helps, but downloading each episode helps even more. Please share the podcast, review it, and sign up for my newsletter at WanderLearn.com. This show was edited by Rejoice Tapon. The music was composed by Eric Stratman. This is Francis Tapon, encouraging you to wander and learn.